If you were like me and a fan of Phoenix Suns basketball back in the late 2000s, you were graced with some ahead of its time playstyle revolving around a certain Big Three: the Hall of Famer Steve Nash, the All-Star wing Sean Marion, who I have already made a video about, and of course, the man in the middle, Amare Stoudemire. These guys were a blast to watch and seemingly always in the hunt for a title, but that was long ago. Today, all three are retired and not many questions about them remains. But I have one. Is Amare Stoudemire a Hall of Famer? Let's dive right in. Stoudemire was not born into a good situation. After his father passed away when he was only 12, Amari and his brothers Hazel and Marwan were raised by a single mother who herself was constantly in and out of jail. Amari turned first and foremost towards his older brother Hazel for guidance and learned the importance of staying away from the street life and the power of dedication and hard work. He would later credit who he became as a person to his brothers: a local police officer with whom he periodically lived with, his minister, and his youth AAU coach, who he also periodically lived with. Despite the negativity surrounding him, Amari did not settle or accept being a victim. He pushed through and worked harder than anyone else to make himself into not only an elite basketball player, but also a role model for those younger. As a result of his troubled home life, Amari was forced to attend 5 different high schools, which caused him to miss significant time on the court with high school transfer rules. In the end, he actually only played 2 years of high school basketball, which fortunately included his senior season, although he was now an unusually old 19 years of age by this time. At Cypress High School in Orlando, Florida, Amari averaged a monstrous line of 29 points, 15 rebounds, and 6 blocks per game. Even with so little exposure, he was named a 5-star recruit and an NBA prospect for the upcoming 2002 NBA draft. After an initial brief commitment to the University of Memphis, Amari opted to skip over college and head straight into the NBA. He would then be drafted number 9 overall by the Phoenix Suns. Despite being a 20-year-old rookie with only some high school experience, Amari was already an above-average NBA player. Playing the power forward position initially due to his lean frame, Amari averaged 13 points, 8 rebounds per game for a Phoenix Suns team that finished over 500, the most points ever by a high school to pro player at that time. He would go on to win the NBA's Rookie of the Year award. Things down in the Valley of the Sun were looking good. During the next 2 years, Amari would grow and thrive with the Suns. By year 3, at age 22, he was now up to averages of 26 points, which placed him 5th overall in the league, and nearly 9 rebounds per game, which placed him 17th. He was doing things nobody could see coming so quickly. He had bulked up his body to play the NBA center position, but remained athletic and strong enough to have an advantage on just about every center in the league. It was during this season that he scored 50 points in a single game, which is very rare for centers in the modern era. The Suns were one of the pioneers to the small ball basketball style. Using Amari in this role equaled success as the team won 62 games and made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. Amari had a playoff unlike any other for his age. He averaged almost 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks per game over 15 playoff games. Absolutely phenomenal. During the offseason leading up to the 2006 NBA season, Amari signed a 5-year, at the time max, $73 million contract extension with the Suns. But at the same time, he reached the point where his knee became far too sore to play basketball at a high level. It was discovered he had some severe cartilage damage which required microfracture surgery. It was initially stated Amari would miss 4 months, but upon his return to the NBA in February, Amari struggled with soreness. After playing only 3 games, averaging 8 points, 5 rebounds a night, Amari was placed back on the injured list for the rest of the season. As a result of this injury, he was not able to compete for the United States national team in the summer FIBA World Championships. Despite the disappointing season, Amari made an elite comeback during the 2007 campaign. Playing in all 82 games, he averaged 20 points, 9 rebounds per contest, and was awarded an All-Star position for the second time. In the playoffs, Amari looked like a man possessed, averaging 25 points, 12 boards, and nearly 2 blocks a night. But it all came to a disappointing end as the Suns were once again defeated by the Spurs, this time in the second round. This playoff series was one of the most controversial in NBA history, as the Spurs were the fortunate beneficiaries to play for crooked officials betting on the games. This was my first year as a Suns fan, and let me tell you, This series made me angrier than you can imagine. Tim Donaghy, the head official responsible for the scandal, was actually sentenced to 15 years in prison for his part in this matter. A crappy way to end an amazing comeback season. Stoudemire spent the summer of 2007 playing with the United States national basketball team in the FIBA Americas Championship. Here, he averaged 11 points per game, helping the American NBA All-Star team to a convincing gold medal, winning every game by at least 27 points. Amare was looking like a superstar now that injuries were a thing of the past. During the 2008 NBA season, Amare once again upgraded his play to 25 points per game, good enough for 5th in the league, 9 rebounds per game, good enough for 18th in the league, and shot 59% from the field, which was good enough for 5th in the league. The Suns, however, only finished the season 6th overall in the Western Conference and lost in the first round. Amare, in these playoffs, scored 23 points, 9 rebounds a game, but it wasn't enough. Entering the 2009 season, Amare was moved back to the power forward position to play alongside recently acquired teammate Shaquille O'Neal, a pairing that proved to be pretty good. Shaq put up 17 points, 8 boards a night, and Amare put up 21 and 8, making them one of the best big men combos in the league. However, as a whole, the team struggled to a not-so-great 46-win season, missing out on the playoffs. An important note from this season is that Amare would be the victim of a couple bizarre eye injuries. During the preseason, he experienced a partially torn iris. Then, in a February game against the LA Clippers, he was once again poked in the same eye, detaching the retina, which sounds extremely painful. This forced him to miss considerable time during the year and forced him to wear goggles the rest of his basketball career. The 2010 NBA season was back to the usual for Amare. He played in every game and averaged 23 points, nearly 9 boards a game. He was named to his 5th All-Star team, and the Suns were back in the playoffs. Here, they would make a return to the Western Conference Finals, but be eliminated by the Kobe Bryant-led LA Lakers. A terrific series you should go back and watch, by the way. Amare had a more down-to-earth playoff run this year, putting up 22 points, 6 boards a game. This proved to be Amare's last series with the Phoenix Suns, as during the summer of 2010, he signed a 5-year, $100 million deal to leave Arizona and join the New York Knicks, a franchise that would also acquire Carmelo Anthony midway through the same season. This was looking like an ultra-competitive team. This year in New York was one of Amare's best. He played in 78 games and averaged 25 points, 8 boards, and nearly 2 blocks per contest, leading the Knicks into the playoffs. Though New York was eliminated in the first round, the future looked bright for the team. The 2011 season was not a good one for Amare, though. The Knicks decided to replace their point guard Chauncey Billups with a second center in Tyson Chandler. This had a negative effect on Amare's game, as he thrived best playing in the middle with a pass-first point guard. After a long NBA lockout and disappointing start to the season, Amare's older brother Hazel passed away in a car accident. This understandably had a heavy effect on him. At Hazel's memorial service, Amare was quoted saying, "He was my older brother. He was like my guardian angel." After a leave from the team, Amare came back determined to end the season on a high note, not just for him, but for his family. After an improved month in March, he suffered a bulging disc in his neck, forcing him off the court for an extended period of time. From my point of view, at only 29 years of age, Amare was looking more and more like an old man on the court. He would play in only 47 games, putting up major drops of 17 points, 7 rebounds per game. His once elite athleticism was fading. The playoffs were a disaster. After 2 disappointing games, Amare punched a glass fire extinguisher case, resulting in a severe laceration in his hand, forcing him to miss Game 3. After 5 games, New York was eliminated. Amare played hard and with passion in 2013, but was relegated to a bench role and would be forced to miss over half the season with continuing knee issues. In 29 games, he managed a respectable 14 points, 5 boards a night off the bench, but it was apparent he may never return to his old self. The 2013 playoffs were crushing for him, as he only appeared in 3 games, putting up 15 total points. Stoudemire had a valiant return in 2014 after another slow injury-plagued start. He managed to work his way back into the Knicks starting rotation and fought till the end as the team fell just short of the playoffs. This year would be Amare's worst statistical season, however, at now 31 years of age. He was only putting up 11 points, 4 boards a game. But his veteran leadership was felt, and his presence made a bigger impact than numbers can measure. The Knicks' Carmelo Anthony, Amare Stoudemire era never fulfilled what many were hoping for. The 2015 started out horrendously. The team had 5 wins by mid-December, and the aging Amari no longer appeared in the team's future vision. Despite playing decently, 12.6 boards a game, the franchise bought out his contract and he became a free agent, although not for long. The playoff-bound Dallas Mavericks picked up Amari quickly and used him as a backup power forward. He managed 10 points, 3 boards a game, and a career-low 16 minutes per game, but was once again a positive veteran influence for a competitive team. The Mavericks would be eliminated in the first round. Amari's NBA career ended after the 2016 NBA season. He played this year with the Miami Heat and actually received 36 starts, but was only good for 5 points a game. He just did not fit in with the modern NBA. The Heat made it to the second round, but Amari's role diminished even more so in the playoffs to just 3 points per game. The fiery start to his NBA career was finally extinguished. Amare did not quit basketball entirely in the summer of 2016. Instead, he simply retired from the NBA. You have to realize he was only 34, which is not ancient in basketball terms, especially for a 6-time All-Star. Amare decided to follow his faith and moved to Israel to play for Hapoel Jerusalem, excuse my pronunciation, of the Israeli Basketball Premier League. An interesting move to say the least. In 17 games with Jerusalem, he put up 12 points, 6 boards a night, and helped his team win the 2017 IBPL championship, the only championship he'd ever win. After a season in the Big 3 League, Amare surprised many by once again returning to the IBPL for the 2019 season. He has been playing well for Hapoel Jerusalem once again, but this is where we hit present day. The 2002 number 9 overall pick is still not done with basketball, but his NBA career looks to be finished. Amare Stoudemire did some amazing things during an amazing era of Phoenix Suns basketball. He was a fan favorite, well liked around the league, and a role model for future basketball players both on and off the court. Amare retired after 14 NBA seasons. He was a Rookie of the Year, 6-time All-Star, and 5-time All-NBA finalist. He finished with 15,994 points, placing him 118th all-time. 6,632 rebounds, putting him 143rd all-time. 1,054 blocks, good enough for 85th all-time, and finished his career with a 53.69% field goal percentage, putting him 34th all-time. Amare blew up and blew up fast. He did just about everything he would ever do in his first 9 years before injuries took him away from stardom. I loved watching him play, and will hopefully never forget what he did with the Suns. In a similar fashion to Shawn Marion, I want Amare Stoudemire to be a Hall of Famer. I want him to receive the honor after everything he has given the world. He may not deserve the title based off of career numbers alone, but he still gets my imaginary vote. So there you guys have it, the career of one of history's most explosive and entertaining basketball players. I would love to hear what everyone has to say with this topic down below. I try to respond to as many comments as I can, and even if I am unable to, I promise you I read them. Comment, like, subscribe. I will see you all next time.